while we're embarking on this 50th anniversary, growing up in the birthplace of hip hop, the Bronx, what was it like? What was it like growing up? I'm talking about when you first kind of like when we pursued to do what we do now.
You know what's so wild? And I'm not saying this because I'm between kings. Okay, I'm not saying this for that reason. But real talk. The first time we knew what an MC was, it was this dude right there. It was
I say he's the greatest rapper of all time.
No bullshit. People forget quick. Damn, the music on. People forget quick what it was really like, and not just the Bronx. I'm talking about New York, whole of New York, because we was between Harlem, the Bronx, and Brooklyn. Okay, I grew up in the Bronx, early 70s. I was actually in Harlem first. Wait, I was born in Brooklyn. Lived in Harlem. Moved to the Bronx miraculously in 1973. Right there when Herc was there.
In 73?
Yeah, I was in the Bronx, 73 at 1600 Sedgwick Avenue. Three doors down from Herc. I was 8 years old.
Wow.
I was 8 years old. I was living there. The jams were going on. You know, Cedar Park, everything was happening. We were running around free shit. That's all we cared about. But we didn't even realize it was hip hop. It was not that yet. It was just our neighborhood shit.
What was it called? Did it have a name?
Everybody, the jams. You know, there was no flyer. You walked outside your house, you heard that shit booming. And you was like, it's over there in so-and-so park. So the jam's down there. Yeah, that's how you get to it. But here's the thing, though. Everybody knew that shit. Everybody was doing that shit. Everybody was out, okay? But out of everybody in New York, everybody, this fucking guy right here.
Preach the word.
The word, God.
Preach the word.
This dude right here, okay, this is what made it for us right here as MCs. Of course, you know there are others that influenced us, but the first one for me, was Melly Mel. And when the message came out, that shaped everything I'm about to do. This is where the teacher is born, right here. Some little kid listening to the message, saying he's breaking down my whole shit, my whole neighborhood, how I think, how I feel. I said, that's MCing. That's what we're supposed to be doing, breaking down the feelings of the people. There's another time I said, well, that's just one record from Mel. Whatever. Nah, Beat Street came out.
Right.
The last.
Verse.
The last song. Last scene.
The song.
What was that song?
It was Ramon. You talking about Ramon?
Yeah, the last one he was talking about Ramon. Beat Street is a message. It's a lesson too, because you can't let the streets beat you. The lyrics in that shit is the greatest of all time. All time. This shaped the entire conscious rap movement. This man right here.
So what the teacher saying, this is the teacher.
This is the teacher.
The teacher saying this is the teacher.
Oh, no doubt. This is the teacher.
Okay,
right
so
here.
speaking of that, let me just ask you a question. Do we have at this point the 50th anniversary? Did we get the message?
Did we get the message?
Did we get the message?
Oh yes. Look, revolution only works for those that participate. So you can preach the message all day. If you an idiot and don't get it, then you the idiot that don't get it. Ooh. Now, Mel preached the message, told us what to do. Matter of fact, I'm remembering right now in Beat Street in the record, he said, and don't be a slave to no computer. Now AI. This is the teacher.
Muscle. That's why I keep telling people, listen, let me tell you something. People ask me all the time, what's the top five? I said, listen, well, they're the top two slots are going. Right. Period. Mel got the greatest, he's the greatest rapper, and he got the greatest song ever. Because you could take his song, The Message, and give it to Mike Will Made It. And still it's relevant today. Like you're saying, right? The fact that he spoke about that, because again, when it's divine, you speak from the most realest place. So he spoke from a pure place. Right? So, and think about the word of that song, The Message. Right? We always need what? A message.
Now, I need to say this. Now, Krista said all of this about Mel, right? I need Mel to speak on the impact of KRS-ONE and what he meant to our culture.
Well, you know, just taking it to the next level, putting the Bronx on the map, even coming with the foundation of being a teacher in hip-hop. I see what he do, I know what he do. He's in the schools, he's going to work with the kids, you know, he does all that. it is very important, like, and not saying that a torch was passed, but it's everybody has to have their own mantle for hip hop to have the strength that it is. He's one of the guys that remained strong even throughout the whole thing. Strong, and I don't like using the word relevant, but he always maintained, you needed a KRS-ONE. You needed a KRS-ONE.
So the first day you heard KRS, what was your first feeling? Because I'm saying for you, you got to think about it. You are, as they state, you're day one, right?
Right.
The greatest, that ever did it. So when the first time you heard KRS, how'd you feel about it?
Well, this was around the time when hip hop was, branching out to all the other boroughs. So, Queens might have been making a run, and then Brooklyn might have been making a run. And then when he came with the South Bronx, he put us back in the front line. You know what I mean? So now the Bronx is front running again because of what him and Scott LaRock did. And big shout out to Scott LaRock.
Rest in peace.
Great brother. Yeah.
BDP.
So he put it on, and see, and that's my thing with hip hop, even up to this day. The Bronx has to maintain that mantle in order for, look, it's cool for Louisiana to tell their story, and it's cool for Kentucky to tell their story, but the Bronx has to maintain the mantle, because anybody that's telling that story from the Bronx, they know they're telling you a day one story. And that's the important thing of this 50th anniversary.
Right, I talk about this. I use this analogy, right? So you think about Dr. J didn't have a blueprint. He was the blueprint. Then Michael Jordan sees him. Then Kobe sees him. Then LeBron sees him. So you were that. You know what I mean? You're Dr. J. So again, people had to look at you and say, okay, all right, this is what he said. Now I got to build on that. Right? I got to build on what you started. So for me, it's just a responsibility. So like I said, you can't tell a story if you don't start from day one. For anybody to omit y'all from the story, they've been disrespectful to the culture. And so for me, it's them saying, whoever's done that, I apologize to you. Not that, because I protect it. I protect it, I salute it. I stand with y'all, stand firm. You know what I mean? This is the body, this is the creation, you know what I'm saying? It's the teacher. The teacher said this is the teacher. So y'all can stop guessing.
Hey, Brandon.
Oh, yeah, no. It's August 12th. It's on Saturday. It's the Saturday. We're shutting down Sedgwick Avenue. We're right in front of 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. Big stage, whole shit blown out. TV1, BET, 94.7. We're about to shut the whole fucking city down. And you need to think about whether you want to host this shit, how you want to position yourself.
Whose music is that playing?
However you want, because you the dude that brought everybody to 1520 on the tour. So fuck that. You need to position yourself in some kind of way, even if the tour, the Hush tour, it's a different conversation, but you can bring them in a big way. And I'm just talking about you, but there's that. There is that. And 1520's there, it's there for you.
So Brandon,
but we'll
come to the stage, Brandon, real quick.
Right, we got time. Okay, yes, right.
Now, you can do it on the stand, or you can hold the mic.
Okay, so I don't have to stay in this one place.
No, you don't have to stand.
Well, I can take it, and if it's spotlight, it'll follow it. So if I take the mic off the stand and walk this way and talk to
Right, work the whole thing. Like,
all right, yeah.
And blah, 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 and record card, 5 minutes, and you just starting there. After you start there, you move.
Before rap was a game or hip-hop was a nation, before Lauryn Hill began her miseducation, before Milk was chillin' or PE brought the noise, before Heavy D and the boys, before the roof caught on fire, before fresh was the word, before Houdini and friends on Sand Revenge, before the freaks came out at night.
Yo, so what's up? It's the Blastmaster KRS-ONE. We chilling right now. First of all, welcome to the Temple of Hip Hop. I am the teacher, KRS. I'm in New Orleans right now, chilling, celebrating 50 years of hip hop right this moment. We're at the Essence Festival of Culture. And this is interesting here because you got a whole bunch of music going on. It's crazy. I mean, take a look at this real quick.
Yes, sir. How y'all doing? Make some noise, y'all. Y'all still with us? Make some noise. Essence, make some noise right now. Make some noise.
So they're getting ready to get on and do our thing. It's about to be on. This is the Temple of Hip Hop. We'll be right back. Peace and welcome back. So, as I was saying, I'm here in New Orleans right now, and as you know, when we're on the go, the lessons are shorter. So I'm gonna keep this succinct and to the point. The lesson we're talking about today has to do with, and I don't even know what to call this, but it's a timely message for right now. And the timely message for right now is, sometimes to get your goal accomplished, you got to sort of be able to you have to be flexible enough and morphable enough to join in with other goals to get your goal accomplished. Now this is a tough lesson because, and the reason I'm giving this right now is because I'm here at the what is called the Essence Festival of Culture. And, you know, a lot is being tested right now. A lot is being tested. When we first started this, when I was first asked to do this was another day that I said, I don't know if I really want to do this day. It's all it is. It's big, it's stage, it's all of that. Okay, it's cool, but here's another company, another corporation coming in for a 50th anniversary celebration. You know, they just slapped it on at the last minute. So it was Dougie Fresh, obviously. I only move within hip hop. So it was Dougie Fresh that called up and said, yo, I need you because I'm doing a certain concept at the Essence Festival and they need to see this concept. So because it's Dougie, I said, all right, you know what, count me in then, and I'm down. Let's see what it is. So Essence sends the contract crazy, okay? We had to go there, write it up, chop it up, argue with them, this, that, and the other. Again, the show almost didn't even happen. So we finally settle everything, okay? And now it's time to do the show. So we really don't do a rehearsal. We really just, you know, fly by night kind of doing it. I know what Dougie wants. We all know each other. By the way, it's Dougie Fresh, Slick Rick, Big Daddy Kane, Grandmaster Kaz, Sugar Hill Gang, Bone Crusher, EPMD, and I hope I'm not forgetting anybody, but we're all supposed to, you know, basically rock and pass the mic to the next one, non-stop, 45 minutes. So, now mind you, we are trying to celebrate the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and we're trying to do it in an edutainment way, where we're not just partying, but we're discussing or expressing the 50 years. So obviously now we get here to New Orleans. It's 90-something degrees out here, okay? We get here, and it's beautiful. Whoa. Not just the venue itself, but what Dougie Fresh is trying to do. The story that he's trying to tell in this one little moment. So I get here, and all the names that I mentioned, we go one after the other, you know, just like that. But there is a story that's being told. Sugar Hill Gang is here. I confirmed with Master G today, okay? Confirmed with Master G that some of you may have already heard me say, you know, about the manifestation of your words, and how I give the example of the Sugar Hill Gang. Their rhymes, when they rhymed about I got a Lincoln Continental and all of this type of stuff, that they didn't have that stuff until they said it out their mouth. They manifested what their intent and what their vision of themselves was. So I got a chance to verify that with Master G today, where a rhyme I brought up to him where I said, he said, I'm going down in history as the baddest brother there ever could be. Now you're feeling the highs and you're feeling the lows. The beat starts kicking into. So this rhyme, I'm going down in history. Now when he said it, he confirmed it. I was just trying to just impress some girls at the moment right there. Had no idea that what he was saying, he was actually manifesting. He had no idea. Look, they wasn't thinking about themselves being Sugar Hill Gang, first rap record, you know, technically first major rap record out with success. They didn't know about all of this. Hit them like a ton of bricks. And also shout out to Big Bang Hank, Big Bang Hank, rest in peace, and Wonder Mike as well. Shout out to them. This is an event that happened to them and smacked them in the face, and they didn't even know how to deal with it their own self. So I'm confirming with Master G some years later, you know, some 40 years later, saying, yo, did you know? He said, no, we didn't know. But when it happened, we gained enlightenment. Even Master G said that was prophecy right there. I go further with the definition of MCing, which is divine speech. You know, that's unique to the Temple of Hip Hop. We teach that MCing is part of divine speech. So watch what you're saying, because you don't know. You think that your movements, your speech, your actions, you think that they are just you doing stuff. But if you walk in the path, if you walk in a spiritual path, or if you got your gospel and you live in the hip hop life from the gospel of hip hop, these are the things that are going to happen to you. This is the way you have to interpret your life. These are the ways in which you have to interpret your life. So, another act getting ready to go on. I'm gonna take another break. I'll be right back. So we're back once again. Jagged Edge is rocking the stage right now. Shout out to that whole crew. But here's the lesson, like I was saying. Sometimes you have to join the dreams of others in order to achieve your own dreams. What I was saying was that this whole Essence Festival of Culture started off kind of crazy with the contract, with what it's all about, my own ethics about the 50th anniversary, all of that. But I lent myself to Dougie Fresh and to his ideas. And I said, you know, let me just help Doug in his ideas. But when I got here, our whole family was here. And as a matter of fact, the story that Dougie Fresh is telling is literally the history of hip hop. Of course, there could be more people here, but like I said, Sugar Hill Gang is here performing. Melly Mel is here as well performing. Big Daddy Kane, KRS, EPMD, Bone Crusher. You know, you're pretty much getting markers in hip hop's history, and I saw what he was trying to do, or what he did really, and what he achieved. But I had to lend myself to that in order for this to happen. Dougie Fresh said something very profound. I'll share it with you now. When he was putting this together, he said, if all of us do a little, none of us has to do a lot. And that's the point. I'm only up there, 3 songs? And I'm not even doing the whole song because it's in and out. It's boom, 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 boom. But if we all do a little, then we all don't have to do a lot. So we're here right now. And the bag is good. Let me tell you that too. The bag is big here. Shout out to Dougie Fresh on the bag as well. And Chill Will. And the whole crew, the whole Get Fresh crew. My point though, is that by lending yourself to the goals and dreams of others, you enlarge yourself. Never think that if you lend yourself to somebody else's dream or goal, you're diminishing your own, or that you won't have time for your own goals, or this, that, and the other. Most of the time, when you help somebody achieve their goal, you achieve yours. You know it's the truth. This is what I've been experiencing. And I'm experiencing the same thing with hip hop's 50th anniversary, the official Hip Hop 50th, actually it's called the Hip Hop 50 Years Block Festival. That's the official hip hop celebration. Why? Because first of all, we're shutting down Sedgwick Avenue. The whole Sedgwick Avenue gets shut down. Second of all, we're jamming in front of 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx. I'm putting a huge stage with booming systems. You're gonna see what hip hop really sounds like when you get out here and see what we're putting in the street. This is a temple of hip hop production in association with the borough of the Bronx, city of New York, my dude Matthew Morgan and his wife, the Lisa Foundation, all types of people joining. Boom Bap Nation, what up to you? You already know. And many, many others that are joining in by the day. Artists as well. I already told you it's KRS, Chuck D, Talib Kweli, Poor Righteous Teachers, MOP, Hakeem Green of Channel Live. I can't get all the names in my head, but it's gonna be one after the other, Mike grabbing, Mike passing, one after the other. And it's gonna be a phenomenal event. Not just MCs, breakers, B-boys, B-girls. Shout out to the Rocksteady crew. Shout out to the LA Breakers. Shout out to New York City Breakers. Shout out to the Dynamic Breakers, or used to be Dynamic Rockers. Shout out to all of y'all who will also be in the house as well, or at least invited. But most of them will be there as well because it's the neighborhood. We're in the neighborhood where the Bronx, where hip hop started. So they're all just coming through. I was talking to EPMD, actually PMD Parish. He said, I'm coming through. I know Eric coming through as well. Kane said he coming through. He got a show in Connecticut that same day. Big up to Connecticut. He got a show in Connecticut, but we could get Kane in the day. Rakim said he might come through because he got a show too the same day on the 12th. But in the daytime, we might get it blazing. We'll see what happens. But these are my brothers. These are my sisters. These are and sisters. I say I'm thinking of MC Light, others, Queen Latifah, and others who are connected in mind and in spirit, and they know what it is. The invite is going out to all MCs, all graffiti writers, beat boys, beat girls, beat boxers, DJs, all of us. This is where it is. So that's what's going on. So I started with BCC. Actually, we started at Cedar Park. Cedar Park was too small. We went to BCC, Bronx Community College. Bronx Community College rejected us. They said they couldn't do it. We found ourselves now back at Sedgwick Avenue. So we said, you know what? The ancestors must want it there. So we already managed 1520 Sedgwick, the birthplace of hip hop. So we said, let's just do this right outside our door where it all started anyway. So the city kicked in. Shout out to Mayor Eric Adams. Shout out to Piriana Sanchez, councilwoman in the Bronx. Shout out to Vanessa Gibson, Bronx Borough President. Shout out to Professor Sanchez as well, Temple of Hip Hop, and others who Ish as well, my man Ish as well, and many others. I'm not gonna get into name dropping, but these are the people behind the scenes that's making it happen. Like I also said, Morgan Matthew as well. I'm sorry, Matthew Morgan. Shout out to you, Matthew Morgan, and his wife as well. These are the and again the Lisa Project. These are the people coming to the table to help us to do this, to make this happen. We're also raising funds as well. We're trying to restore the 1520 Sedgwick Avenue building. So, you know, I'm asking for $350,000 on a fundraising campaign. You'll see the official campaign go up maybe in about a week or two. But I'm just getting it started now. If you got anything to donate or anything to give, you know when that goes up, when the official goes up, respond to it. Respond to it. Every little bit counts. And the money's going right to the restoration of our culture. In addition to that, y'all know that we opened the Temple of Hip Hop at 55 Ludlow. Now, keep this in mind. Why am I saying all of this? Because all of these ideas started from me, okay? I said, yo, this is what it is. This is what we got to do. But my ideas had to change and morph. And even some stuff didn't get done. But the ultimate intent is, and this is the part about asking God for help and then limiting God to your understanding of what that help should be. If you pray and you ask God for assistance in something, you're asking an infinite intelligence to help you in your finite situation. Infinite intelligence has an infinite amount of ways of making your dreams come true. And infinite intelligence, if you can give yourself over to a higher intelligence, it usually provides for you what you need. Like you say, like I said, I want the greatest hip-hop anniversary celebration ever. This is it, the official, we're gonna do it. But I went through several ideas and got rejected over here and gassed up over here and da-da-da-da-da to finally land in the place we're supposed to be. 1520 Sedgwick, right outside the door, shut down Sedgwick Avenue and put the booming system in the street. Grab the mic and let's get it on. Free to the public, let's get it on. Let's show the world what hip hop is really all about. So to get that accomplished, I had to side with the city, with Matthew Morgan and his company, with others and that. But when you bring people together and you form that coalition and that team, you could do greater things than just by yourself. I'm not compromising my views or my principles at all. At all. In fact, my intent to keep the Hip Hop 50 Years Block Festival, to keep the integrity of the festival intact, being at 1520 Sedgwick on August 12th, Saturday, you know, come to think of it, I don't know why I didn't think of that first. I don't want to incriminate myself here, but, you know, Bronx Community College, that was a beautiful venue with multiple rooms and everything. But they said no. Or at least they said they couldn't accommodate us. So now we're back out in the street where we belong, where we started, how this whole thing got to be what it is. But I had to side with the views of other people in order to get the ultimate vision off. You can't have an ego like this. You can't just want to hold on to your ideas and just say, I just want it done like this and that's it. Matter of fact, if that's the attitude you're going to take, then don't ask God for help. And that's really the point. Because you can say, I want this done a certain way. So go ahead and do it according to your intelligence, and you may be successful. But if you ask an infinite intelligence to help you, you're going to have to be fluid enough to change your ideas, grow your ideas, develop your ideas, and even unite your ideas with the ideas of others. So here I am at the Essence Festival on the ideas of others. Here I am here the Temple of Hip Hop is, throwing the Hip Hop 50 Years Block Festival with the help of others. Shout out to 1520 and the Tenants Association with the help of others. Shout out to Mayor Ross Baraka and everybody in the government of Newark, New Jersey. The Temple of Hip Hop is backed by some real hip hoppers in government positions. This is the beginning of a prophecy as well. It's not just that our temple exists, it exists the way we predicted that it would exist. That's the key. That's the key. Did Master G know that what he was saying was going to manifest in his life? No, but that's the unconscious part that we have to pay attention to. We got to become conscious of our unconscious state or being. That unconscious you is doing more than the conscious you. You better get it right now while you can. I'm living the knowledge that I'm speaking of, and it's wonderful. Grab your gospel, pull out the freestyle of the day and make it an affirmation in your life. We're doing things in this world that is beyond our capabilities as hand and mouth and foot. To do this, you have to be mind and spirit and soul. And you got to be flexible enough to join in on the intent of others moving in the direction you're moving in. If you don't know what your purpose is, join with others that do know what their purpose is. You'll find your purpose. If you want to get your goal off the ground, help others get their goal off the ground. You'll find support and help always. This is the point. You want somebody else to make it, you want yourself to make it, intend that somebody else makes it. See the good in others. Pull the talent out of other people. Because when you do that, you pull in the good and the talent out of yourself. Others will see it and respond to it. So I'm here in hot-ass New Orleans, and it's wonderful. Juvenile just went on. Jagged Edge is ripping it right now. And it's wonderful. So I don't have anything else to say at this point other than to show you the rest of the craziness that's going on out here. But it's wonderful, and that's the word, wonderful. Wonderful. We're not done yet, though. I got a few more things to go over, but I'm going to give it a break right now again. I'll be right back. This is the Temple of Hip Hop. I am KRS-ONE.
Before the crash crew is rocking on the radio. Before Whitney, Mariah, Brandy, and Janet. Before Bam and the Sonic Force rock the planet. Before Bees on the Breaks. Before Hot Times. Before the Sugar Hill Gang and before Super Rhymes. Before Reaganomics. Before rappers got shot in their stomachs. Before you found hip-hop in comics. Before G's. Before weed was trees, before going raw dog gave you a deadly disease, before haters, before thugs and perpetrators, before the alphas, before the betas, before people's cell phones, retro gods, FedEx, food stamps, and metro cards, before cops was 5-0 or cats was answers, before all the B-boys turned into break dancers, before legs was crazy, out turned to Swayze, and L said it's hot, humid and hazy, before all the bull, and by no means get it twisted. My name is hip hop, and I have always existed. In this physical form, or in the essence of rhyme, Grandmaster Caz, and you're about to witness the greatest of all time. Boogie Down Productions will always get paid. We'll take the wacky songs and make it better. Remember to let us into your skin, 'cause then you'll begin to master rhyming. Criminal blinded, you've been blinded. Looking for a show like mine, you can't find it. Day of the audience, I am the lyricist. Sometimes the something on the side, got it in the page. A rage, I'm not in a cage. Free as a bird, the fire back on stage. Ain't here for no brother, just to say a little something. Something so wacky that they all about nothing. However, really fascinating to learn. Always rap performance game, better and better. English grammar, looks get like my hammer. You need a style, I need to do your motto. Best way to take this in other people's ass. Break and break this spot up, justice. Keep my head like this. Every time every curl, nothing only women got stop a little. This girl's a song, huh? What? I don't know. I never talked to a woman. What? So here we go. Put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up, come on, put your hands up, come on, y'all. That's it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, let's go.
Peace and much love, and welcome to the Temple of Hip Hop. I am Minister Sun One. The Temple of Hip Hop is a hip hop preservation ministry, archive, school, and society. We believe that the best way to preserve hip hop is to preserve hip hoppers themselves. And thus here we are. The Essence Festival was a very dope show for hip hop. I had the privilege of being able to watch. It felt like, to me, it was a moment for the pioneers of hip-hop, legends of hip-hop, to do their thing in a almost a variety show type of way, for the fact that they did go back to back, one after another, and just kept coming out and hitting you over and over again. It was dope. The reception of the people, obviously magnificent. Everybody was blown away. But again, for myself, not to be selfish, but I personally felt it was surreal to be there, to be on the stage with them as they did their thing, welcomed by them. Essence may think it's a little crazy that I was on their stage at the time. But needless to say, very, very, very dope display, of the highest level of rap performances going down at the Essence Festival. So that was very, very nice to be there and to be able to witness and have literally the best seat in the house. So to add on to what our teacher was building about earlier, Of course, this has a lot to do with the example he gives very frequently with where he talks about building value, and not just building value for yourself, but building value for others. Of course, the example goes, you and your mans, or you and your homegirl sitting on the porch with nothing. And all of a sudden your homeboy goes, the metaphysical, lyrical, lie, miracle, hysterical, attacking the beat, sit back in your seat. And then you have the option of either saying, yo, that was dope, that was crazy, we need to get other people to hear that, or it's you're whack and don't spit that garbage no more on this porch. But, and obviously with the latter, you guys just remain valueless, and now you have nothing to do, or now you don't have purpose. But if you can see the value in your brother or sister and encourage them, and in a sense be their hype man, you both can take that and achieve way better than sitting on that porch. It's even with, or we should all understand, watching certain people that we don't believe have that much talent at all, but somehow they've seemed to be able to rise in music, entertainment, and whatnot, because somebody was sitting there next to them saying, nah, that's dope. I don't care what it sounds like. I don't care that other people aren't going to understand it. I think it's dope. And so I'm riding with you, and I want you to do it again. And I'm going to let everybody know it's dope. Again, what you have to remember about hip hop itself is that no outside source can really judge hip hop. It's hip hop. Those who formed hip hop, they were the ones telling the people what's dope and what's not. It wasn't them doing what they were doing and then the people automatically was like, okay, that's fresh. No. These dudes had certain rhymes that they spit telling you, I'm dope. I'm doper than you. I'm the dopest thing out. I'm fly. And the confidence that came with that, the way it was displayed, people agreed. And plus, they always normally came with some type of crew, some type of hype, something that validated them and made it easier for others to validate. You see the same thing on social media these days. Whereas if them fire emojis start getting kicked off, another person's like, well, I want to add some fire too. Add a thumbs up or whatever emoji they want to express online. But again, with a whole bunch of views and only a couple of comments, people are reluctant to express their opinion because they don't want to be seen as the only one liking it, or as if they have poor judgment of what is dope and what's not. So knowing that, being hip hop, you need to know that you are the designator of dope and what's hot and not the other way around. So you got to be confident in hip hop like that. But so I wanted to read a couple of passages in the Gospel of Hip Hop that is talking about purpose, because a lot of, well, TEACHA said, or he was expressing about how you can attain your purpose through helping others with purpose get to where they need to be. And that ultimately that does increase your chances of achieving your purpose. So I'm in the third, I'm going to start off here in the third overstanding the divine performance. Again, week after week, really what we're trying to help you see is not just the living of hip hop, but the character behind the living of hip hop, which is the main ingredient that gives or enhances your hip hop abilities in order to achieve that which the likes of our teacher has been able to accomplish, and others. So with that, I'm on page 152, perform listening. More than being a good speaker, be a good listener. Develop the ability through practice to truly listen and comprehend the subjects, topics, concerns, and causes of others without judgment or prejudice. Practice giving your full attention to a person. Practice the art of temporarily setting aside your own desires and concerns so that you may experience the speaker's world from within yourself. For until you are willing to enlarge yourself as to include others unconditionally, it shall be difficult for you to truly listen to another. The act of truly listening to someone requires some love or care for that person. It is difficult to truly understand another person without first making room for that person within yourself. True listening requires the total acceptance of the one speaking. True listening is about true sharing. It is a union of interests. God listens and speaks through many kinds of people as well as circumstances and situations. Perform your listening. Don't just hear, train yourself to listen. Like your eyesight, you can direct your hearing. You actually can hear what you want to hear. You can hear the ignorance and immaturity of others, or you can hear God. The decision, freedom, is always yours. You can hear ignorance, but you don't have to listen to it. Direct your ear to hear and then listen to God's instructions instead of the world's insecurities. Know God's voice. It is difficult to live by faith or in spirit if you cannot truly hear and even speak the voice of your God. Know this. The brain selects certain sounds to hear, and you select out of those sounds what you want to hear. Throughout the day, direct your brain to hear the messages of God. They may come when you least expect it from unusual and non-traditional places. Practice your spiritual sensitivity and use your intuitive abilities daily. You can begin with prayer, then affirmation, then visualization, then actualization. Through each stage of growth, it is the discipline to listen and comprehend the voice of God that provides the greatest guidance through the obstacles of the streets. Listen for your purpose and listen through your purpose. Those who know their divine purpose can practice listening to that small inner background voice inside of them. It usually tells them what to do as well as what not to do. But most people ignore their still small voice only to regret making a decision contrary to the will of that still small voice. And sorrow and regret, they say, I knew I should have, or something told me to. It is this cycle that must be reversed. You must eventually develop the ability to hear clearly and obey the inner voice that warns, guides, and teaches. You must learn how to act upon the messages of God. Take some time to listen to silence. God speaks silently and quietly. When a split-second decision must be made in the material world, or when you get that feeling to choose left or right, yes or no, him or her, them or me, a helpful technique to hearing and obeying your inner voice has traditionally been to act upon your first impression. For those who live with spiritual lives, for those who live spiritual lives, usually it is the wiser self that advises us first, then the younger self doubts the advice of the wiser self in the decision-making process. Even if your first impression or feeling proves to be an immediate failure, always remember that what appears to be a failure in the present isn't always a failure in the future. Trust in God. Just because you cannot immediately see the success of your decision does not mean that your decision has led you to failure. Trust in God. Those who truly live in spirit and take their gospel seriously are guided and protected even when they cannot see it or do not even know it. This is where Teacher was talking about the unconscious part of you. Trust God. All throughout life, you will be guided toward the fulfillment of your divine purpose. Even when you appear to be lost, you are moving toward your divine purpose. Even when you believe that you are late, you shall escape danger and arrive right on time. Even when you lose, you shall win. Trust God. Even when adversity arises, fear not. Indeed, you are moving toward your divine purpose. When things are taken from you or damaged, or it appears that you cannot get the things that you want, do not be discouraged. It is for your own protection and development. The key to understanding life and flowing with life is in the knowing of your life purpose. And in the knowing that your life purpose, that God is actually fulfilling, and that you are ultimately achieving your vision of yourself. Listen to your purpose. Feel and follow the direction of your purpose. Those who do not yet know their life purpose should ask their God to reveal it to them. Search your heart and listen. God has already given you purpose. Look around at your environment and into what you do best. Listen out for those activities that truly make you the happiest. You're already being called to your purpose right now. Do not be discouraged. Release all doubt. Listen and be guided. Perform listening. So right there, key. Those who do not yet know their life purpose should ask their God to reveal it to them. Search your heart and listen. God has already given you purpose. Now, and of course, you got to activate all types of divine performances in that one statement, perform in faith. If you don't believe it, you won't receive it. I am an MC. But there's no getting around that. It was messed up because I just lost my second part because of the way. I wish that hopefully, God willing, another gospel design will have like 8 of the place keepers. So you just mark up the whole gospel right there. Of course, people use sticky marks and all that. I understand, but I have a thing about the condition of my gospel and marking it and all types of stuff. But okay, so I'll go here. Of course, as teacher was saying, helping others is a great way. It's a great way to expand your network in that sense, your social network. That obviously, the more places that your talent is displayed, the more, for one, people are going to get used to you. They're going to feel as though they can depend on you, depending on whatever the product is that you're actually producing. And your name keeps coming up in mad circles. So you have to be able to see the main benefit, but these type of acts come with the hip-hopper who's enacting their divine performance. It becomes natural if your mind is based on the 18 divine performances. These are things that you just do because charity is a divine performance. And so, thus, perform charity. Be of a giving nature. Be of service to the progression of life itself. Perform charity often and do not concern yourself with whether your giving shall be returned to you. Give for the sake of giving. Give of your talent as freely as God has given it to you. I'm on page 167, by the way. That last line right there should let you know really what it is. Give of your talent as freely as God has given it to you. That's pretty clear instruction, and you should be able to understand why. Again, you know that there are people out there who can't do what you can do. And most people with talents realize that it's not them that just knew the talent. But in life and in growing, certain things attract you. Again, where it was talking about with your purpose in the perform listening. Do the things that excite you. And so certain things begin exciting you, stimulating your mind as you're growing, and you gravitate towards it, or it's as if it pulls you towards it. And next thing you know, you got a whole bunch of talent. But if you really consciously think about it, you're like, wait a minute. Ain't no way that this is of my doing. It's got to be something else helping and assisting. Because you can see the difference of those who are not on that level with you. So we all know where talent comes from. we know it's God that's giving out the talent and that's helping. And again, like I always say, we might not really be doing much at all. It's paraphrase from the gospel as well. But okay, continuing. Freely giving away samples of one's talent actually opens unexpected doors for the giver and for the receiver. Give of yourself. Give opportunity. Give knowledge. Give time. Give money and other resources. Charity actually relieves. Yeah, that's supposed to be relieves. Relieves human suffering. Be willing to forgive the debt of those who owe you. It's certain lines like this. The first line, freely giving away samples of one's talent actually opens unexpected doors for the giver and for the receiver. You should pay attention to that. Like that's a major key. That opens unexpected doors for the giver and the receiver. You got to say, well, why unexpected? But you got to know that that's what it is. That's what I'm saying. Certain jewels in this gospel that are being said, yeah, of course you want to know why. But the real key that I've found is that I try this out. Try it out. And when you try it out, you'll see it's absolutely correct. It's absolutely correct. So as to the why, it's not even important. What's important is what it does. And that freely giving away samples of one's talent actually opens doors for the giver and the receiver. So just know that. Continuing on, through your own actions, be the example to society as to what charity looks like. Do not attach yourself to anything. All that you have should be able to be given away in a second's notice. The one who gives never loses. The one who owns nothing cannot experience theft, loss, foreclosure, seizure, or confiscation. Charity also proves the wealth of an individual, even if that individual has little or no money. Only a wealthy mentality, even with little money, can freely give. And likewise, only a poor mentality, even with an abundance of money, has nothing to give. If it is wealth, which includes money, that you seek, it is very important that you act wealthy first through your charity. First through charity. That's another key. Right there. Seek to perform charity in public and in private. Charity raises your self-worth. Public charity sets a good example within your community, and private charity sets a good example before your God. So again, everything doesn't have to be so out in the open with you performing charity. Of course, again, it outwardly showing children and even adults, but specifically showing children the act of charity is going to benefit us all eventually. Being that example for them that charity is cool can only be a good thing. Find ways to perform charity, but also be careful not to make those who you are charitable toward dependent upon you. Give with the intention of relieving one's suffering. Sometimes a free gift can prolong one's suffering and or prevent one from learning a much needed lesson. So remember, as you seek to help and assist people, always remember that everyone is where they are for a reason. We have found that some people are exactly where they need to be in life, regardless of how impoverished and or dangerous their circumstances may be. God is engaging us all. That's another one of my favorite lines. And yes, that's harsh, but it's the truth. Again, blessing a heroin addict with $100,000 or even $10,000 is not really a blessing. That's almost a death sentence. So, and that's an extreme example, yes. But it's so that you could get the idea and get the idea quickly. There are much lower levels to it that, again, helping somebody isn't always correct. Or you being the one to help somebody isn't always correct. Follow that. Again, this is where you got to perform listening. Listen to that inner voice. Try to get your first impression in that and go with that. But and discern between when you're doing it. Again, if those who are empaths and sympathetic towards people with issues, you would drive yourself crazy trying to help everybody. And probably wear yourself out, and then you won't be help to anybody. So, of course, with everything that we teach, again, is balance. But that paragraph is very important to remember. Again, this is high level of spiritual awareness. And God is engaging us all. So again, for you to even think somebody needs your help is where you lower the existence of God, in a sense, that as if God needs you. God doesn't need anybody. God will make you all day. But need? No. God will replace. Which is worse. Oh, man. Okay, continuing on. At all times we must walk and talk with a giving heart. But if a person is not also willing to help himself, there is little that anyone can do for such an individual. Therefore, be wise in your giving. Give with the intention to truly help and empower. Sometimes the giving of nothing is the greatest gift of all. Perform charity. So we're getting through. I have one more on purpose. Let me see. Let me find it. I believe it's right. It should be right around here. Yes, perform action. I'm on page 184. Perform action. The most important thing to know of oneself is one's purpose. The fulfillment of one's life purpose is the cause of true joy and happiness. Do not become idle or live without purpose. Although you may be still seeking your purpose, perform action. Never just sit around being unaware of the effects of your actions or your non-action. The attuned hip-hopper shows others through example what righteousness, love, justice, charity, and overstanding looks like. The attuned hip-hopper is aware of how her actions teach society. Such a hip-hopper knows that every social act is a lesson performed in and for one's family, friends, and larger society. For every cause or act, there's an effect or response. Be aware of what you cause to exist through your thinking and your actions. We are the offspring of our own actions. We actually create ourselves through action, which is motivated by purpose. So, what's your purpose? if you lack direction or purpose in life, focus your mind upon the actions of your teacher. I'll repeat. If you lack direction or purpose in life, focus your mind upon the actions of your teacher. And the reason why I'm stressing that is because we're talking about purpose a lot. So, you can make a differentiation of action and purpose in that one thing, but you have to know that the teacher's actions are motivated by his purpose. And you would also see that our teacher's actions are the divine performance. That's I'm just giving y'all the truth of what it is, or speed you up. Again, you're gonna have to come on tour and take the apprenticeship to fully and come to the Temple of Hip Hop at 55 Ludlow, Newark, New Jersey, to truly experience for yourself what I'm saying. But you should know that. Continuing on, pay attention to the way that your teacher performs an action and imitate those performances. Know that your teacher is impartial to success or failure. See how your teacher is not attached to the effects of the act. Feel how your teacher not only gives, but sacrifices. The attuned hip-hopper overstands, and I would say that in sacrifice, you sacrifice the most valuable thing that you have in your life is he's sacrificed for a very long time, which is his time. For a very long time, his time. And shout out to Time Journey. We're not talking about her. We're talking about his actual time on this planet. He's sacrificing it, or a lot of it, a decent amount of it, to teach us. We know that this is not. He doesn't have to do this at all. He's KRS-ONE. Continuing on. The attuned hip-hopper understands that even while acting, we do nothing at all. The attuned hip-hopper knows that all is the great oneness deity, and it is only God that actually acts. Right, I said that earlier. When we are eating, breathing, talking, walking, working, driving, etc., we really do nothing at all. Only God through nature is moving, which gives us the temporary appearance of movement. The attuned hip-hopper does not act nor cause action when it is understood that all action is the divine performance of God. We are actually the effects of God in action. Now, I know this is hard. This is hard for people to understand. Because then it's almost like you ain't got no choice. Or you're not co-creating in that sense. And again, a lot of people will not be able to, they may agree with this entire gospel, but that right there, fully adjusting your mind to that, takes you back up through these paragraphs. Again, know that your teacher is impartial to success or failure. See how your teacher is not attached to the effects of the act. Feel how your teacher not only gives but sacrifices. It's so easy for the teacher because Teacher knows that it's God. That is God doing. And this makes everything easier. It makes the sacrifice of your time easier. It makes the giving of charity easier. The being non-judgmental easier. Accepting whatever life brings toward you or brings you toward. It's easier because you know. And not only do you know, is because we have real examples. Our lives are real examples of this occurring. And this is where you have to see the success that feeling this way, knowing this way, brings you where you need to be. Letting go and letting God. Like, come on. Okay. Like when the wind blows dried leaves across a road, the leaves have no sense of the wind blowing them along, yet the leaves move. Physical bodies have movement in a similar way. Forces, winds, blow against us and push us toward this circumstance or that circumstance. We must learn to navigate the forces, winds of life toward the fulfillment of our life's purpose. Quick example of this. You getting ready to go somewhere. Boom. Phone rings. Hello? There's an emergency over here. We need you over here right now. Everything you had planned and where you were going, the direction that you were heading, has now been thwarted, redirected somewhere totally different. But brings you one step closer to your purpose in life. That's where, right, you have to realize, in trying to realize or get your mind to comprehend your purpose, you'll see that everything is on purpose already. Yeah, you really just, I think I'm about to get into that in a minute, or you really just entered into an ongoing purpose, which is going to continue. Okay. Paragraph 7, page 185. However, such navigation has more to do with allowing the force to carry you without you getting in your own way. Spiritual navigation has to do with allowing God to guide your life. Again, spiritual navigation has to do with allowing God to guide your life. It's about God's leadership in your life. Some people regard God's leadership in their lives as a choice. They say, I now give my life to God, as if they had any authority to do such a thing. I'll read that again because I did. Okay. They say, I now give my life to God, as if they had the authority to do such a thing. And only those of us who really are living it know that you don't have a choice. Anywhere you go opposite to where God wants you to go, you're going to find trouble. Or you have not faced difficulty in life until you try to go against what God wants you to do. So, know this, if your life ain't that difficult, that you are at least in the purpose, in the path of the purpose that you were created for, and meant to go through. The leadership of God in your life is not a choice. It is the truth, the reality you truly have. It's a realization and awakening, a new awareness, a sense of giving up and letting go on your part. The leadership of God is happening now. It is you who must realize this by releasing your fears, doubts, and disbeliefs about your own God force. We must get in harmony with what God is already doing in our lives. Know this. When our will is not the will of God, of our God, we naturally begin to experience pain and suffering. This is what I was just talking about. The will of our God is for hip-hoppers to be joyous, at peace, and prosperous. Our God's will is occurring long before we come to realize it. And those things which happen against our will are usually for our own good. For God sustains life itself. You do not choose God. God chooses you. Because life is sustained by God, every act of the hip-hopper should be performed as a tribute and sacrifice to God. No work or person is too difficult to deal with when all is done as a tribute and service to your God. With this, the attuned hip-hopper escapes the cycles of cause and effect because the attuned hip-hopper causes nothing and is detached from everything. Only God is moving, acting, and speaking. Perform difficult activities knowing this. E.L. Magoon once said, "Existence was given us for action, rather than indolent and aimless contemplation. Our worth is determined by the good deeds we do, rather than by the fine emotions we feel. They greatly mistake who suppose that God cares for no other pursuit than devotion. Perform action." So that's what I wanted to go through about purpose in the divine performance. I did have another piece, which I'm looking for now, in the H law, was an awareness. Okay, I'll read this real quick, and we'll be good to go. Page 237, we're in the awareness section of the H law, health, love, awareness, and wealth. Paragraph 13. Awareness is an ability of consciousness. Consciousness and being conscious are not the same things. Consciousness is generally thought of as awareness and or sensitivity. However, consciousness is more of a field, a substance, a realm, a force that we are all immersed in. Consciousness gives us the ability to be conscious. Consciousness makes us conscious. And to be conscious, one must be aware of one's own thoughts, identity, surrounding environment, and sensations. One must be awake to one's reality. However, the hip-hop community has used the term conscious to also mean having a conscience, a moral sense of right and wrong. Those of our community who have displayed high moral character and ethical behavior, an aura of spirituality and peace, in addition to social activism and protest, have always been called conscious. Artists who may rap about social conditions or point out possible solutions to the challenges facing our community have also been called conscious rappers, distinct from being called gangster rappers as comparison. But when being conscious is applied to being aware, we must ask ourselves, what are we conscious of? What are we actually aware of? What are we awake to? For if the brain processes 4 billion bits of information per second, yet we are only aware of 2,000 bits of that same information, which is mostly assigned to physical reality and bodily functions, then what is our true reality? For if it is our own senses that tell us what is real according to their nature, then what is reality? Our sense of touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing gives us their interpretation of the physical world. But what exists outside of our sense perception? For if reality is only electrical signals and choices being made and interpreted by our brains through the senses, then the reality of your life is truly what you perceive it to be. With more and more awareness, you should be able to do and see more and more into the true nature of your reality. You are doing what is happening to you. The observer affects the observed. We only see what we want to see. Therefore, if at the subatomic quantum level of reality, the observer and the thing observed are really two aspects of the same event. It is accurate to teach that life is what you make of it, and that you truly get what you expect. That it truly is all in your mind, God willing. At the quantum level, two supposedly separate things, like an observer and an atom, seem to affect each other in such a way that if the observer looks at an atom, it is a particle in a fixed position in space. Yet, if the same observer is not looking at the atom, it remains a wave in superposition in space, meaning that it is everywhere at once until we look at it again. And you see, there are several documentaries on this, things expanding and collapsing the second consciousness pulls it into space, which obviously must be happening at such a speed that you can't detect it with your eye. But technically that's what's happening. Our true being seems to exist in a unified field of infinite possibilities that we call God. Everything seems to be going on at the subatomic level at the same time in the same space until we choose one outcome by denying all others. It is perception that creates reality. It seems that physical matter is both particles and waves at the same time, meaning that there are physical as well as non-physical existences to everything our senses can detect. Even we are physical, non-physical beings. Actually, the body is the mind in particle form, and the mind is the body in wave form. The truth of the matter is that physical reality and the observer of physical reality are two aspects of the same unified field event. The observer affects what the observer sees. We basically see what we want to see. What we want and need to see. This goes for our other four senses as well. We are telling physical matter through our sense perception what we want to smell, feel, taste, sound, and look like based upon what we have decided over many years shall be real for us. In essence, everyone affects the reality they see, hear, touch, smell, and taste. The physical world is a potential until we choose it to be what we desire. Space is a substance environment that helps us to see separate things. It blocks reality so that we can get specific things done. At this level of understanding, we are the universe itself, focused upon who we are, it is, and where we are right now. Meditate upon this paragraph before going further. I'll read it one more time. The physical world is a potential until we choose it to be what we desire. Space is a substance environment that helps us to see separate things. It blocks reality so that we can get specific things done. At this level of understanding, we are the universe itself, focused upon who we are, it is, and where we are right now. Meditate upon this paragraph before going further. As spirit human beings, the universe is seeing what it is capable of as us. To know that you are not in the universe, but that you are the universe itself, is self-awareness. To know that you are an idea, a possibility, a hope, a tryout in God's mind. This is self-awareness. To know that God is depending upon you to fulfill the purpose designed for you is self-awareness. I'll repeat that one more time. To know that God is depending upon you to fulfill the purpose designed for you is self-awareness. Now, again, I just to clarify, depending on you and needing you are two different things too, as well. Again, like it says, you're an idea, a possibility, a hope, a tryout in God's mind. This is self-awareness. To know that God is depending upon you to fulfill the purpose designed for you is self-awareness. Now, for you to do opposite of that, again, that's where it talked about you're going to bring pain to yourself, difficulty. So it makes more sense. And ultimately, you could imagine what the ultimate price is if God loses faith in you. We don't ever think about that, right? You always talk about having faith in God. What about God's faith in you? There's a reason. Again, you have a whole designed purpose for you. That's something to think about. To create yourself is self-awareness. For when you create yourself, you know yourself. And when you know yourself, you know God. Know thyself, and thou shalt know the universe and God. Whoa, whoa. Niggas. Not that you are God, capital G, capital O, capital D, but that you are God's, capital G, capital O, capital D, apostrophe S. Otherwise, your owner, your maker, and your creator is God. You are God's. You belong to the very fabric of the spiritual realm itself. Your intention is your answer to God's purpose for your existence. Again, Your intention is your answer to God's purpose for your existence. Your intention is what affects the very fabric of your space-time reality. Your intention, your inside, the inner you. It's not about your words so much as it is about the intention behind your words, the emotion you put into your statements, the feelings, and the graphic mental pictures that occur simultaneously in the mind while speaking, the moaning and groaning of one's being. These are what the universe listens and responds to. Therefore, by believing in our words as attuned hip-hoppers, right, you know, just because it said that now too. So I'm saying, you got to take these words seriously. Like, it can free you. Free you through awareness of yourself and being aware of what this really is and how things happen in it. It's telling you as plain as day what it is. You should grasp onto it and hold tight. Try to remember this stuff through your daily goings and comings and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, it will only aid you and make things better. Okay, therefore, by believing in ourselves as attuned hip-hoppers with special abilities to complete our tasks in this reality. Wait, is that where I'm at? Yeah, it is. Okay, I'm sorry. One more time. Therefore, by believing in ourselves as attuned hip-hoppers with special abilities to complete our tasks in this reality, we command the fabric of life itself toward the aim of our desires. Again, everyone affects the reality they see and experience. So what do you see and experience? Do you see and experience hip-hop as an international culture of peace and prosperity? Do you even think that such a thing is possible? Is such a vision truly the intention of your heart? Or are you really, truly, deep down inside just looking to make a little more money and maybe a better quality of life for yourself and your family? This is fine, but you're going to have to keep it real with yourself. Maybe you just want to rap or break or tag or DJ. Maybe you just like to be in the presence of hip-hop's artistic elements. All of this is fine, and no one can judge a person who is upfront with others and honest with himself. But those who are compelled to do hip-hop's preservation work must keep it real with themselves, or life can get more difficult than it probably already is. And keeping it real with oneself has to do with one's awareness of oneself, one's abilities, and one's destination or goal. What is your intent? Your real intent. If you truly intend to preserve hip-hop, then hip-hop shall truly preserve you. The issue is your intentions. This is what God is listening to. This is what the universe is responding to. To be true to oneself is to live for and from one's true intention without compromise or excuse. This takes courage. However, with this understanding, if our true intention as a group is to preserve and expand hip-hop, then the very fabric of the universe itself will respond to our heartfelt intentions if it is safe for us. In fact, the universe gives the intention special abilities to actualize itself, and it protects and guides such intentions toward actualization. Those whose intentions match the group's collective intention inherit the powers and abilities to complete the actualization of the collective intent. Is that not what we're doing? This is what we're doing. You gotta see it. And everything, or as the teacher spoke and told you earlier. I want to do it this way. Or really, the intention is just, I just want the greatest 50 year hip hop celebration ever. That's the intention. And now, so we perform some action to start walking toward our intention. Go here, we get pulled this way. Go here, we get denied this way. Brought back. And it is this way. Now, not only did the Temple of Hip Hop get to observe week after week the work, the movement toward what's about to actually actualize into physical reality from an intention. That's what you're seeing. And this is the gospel. Again, I'll read this, and this is the end of our read right here. Paragraph 33, page 241. However, with this understanding, if our true intention as a group is to preserve and expand hip-hop, then the very fabric of the universe itself will respond to our heartfelt intentions, if it is safe for us. Now, mind you, Bronx Community College got denied technically because of 2 safety issues. 2 of them. They had potholes in their lawn. Shout out to De La Soul. They had sinkholes in the field that we was gonna do it all on. And then not only that, they feared for everybody's safety, period. So again, as beautiful as Bronx Community College was, it might not have been the safest place for us. And so back to the block, which oddly enough may be the safest place for us. Wildness. Okay, keep it moving. In fact, the universe gives the intention special abilities to actualize itself, and it protects and guides such intentions toward actualization. So again, the way it's all coming into fruition, it itself, the intention and the idea itself is on the move, affecting mad individuals in different places, who are now taking it as if it's their idea and intention. And it probably is in their ideas and intention now, to make sure it happens. Okay. Those whose intentions match the group's collective intention inherit the powers and abilities to complete the actualization of the collective intent. But remember, God is not mindless. God is thinking with you. Meditate upon this paragraph and read it again slowly. There's not much more to say than that. So, the Temple of Hip Hop is a hip hop preservation ministry, archive, school, and society. We believe that the best way to preserve hip hop is to preserve the actual hip hopper themselves. I am Minister Sun One. You have a wonderful week. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Welcome to the G. Simone album project, Such a Feel In. And the album is all about how you're feeling inside and how we all experience life trauma and life glory. And it just takes you through the full story of your life, my life, our lives. And I hope you feel it inside and can express it outside and enjoy it. Thank you so much for listening. Peace.
I can't see you, but I know you. I can feel you. I believe you, but can't touch you. When I find you, I will hold you. When I find you, away we go. 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 Is what we live each day. Tells you come out to play. You try to find your way. Love, it's unconditional. It's truly magical. It heals our hearts and souls. Fear can control your mind. Have you looking blind? The world leaves you behind. Hope, it will give you faith. Stand in your rightful place. Mercy, peace, and grace. I can't see you, but I know you. I can feel you. I believe you, but can't touch you. When I find you, I will hold you. When I find you, lost. You hurt and feel such pain, but life it still remains. Their spirits live, they reign. Forgive those that hurt you so. Forgive and let it go. Forgive and let it go. Just let it go. Everything lives inside of you. Let it inspire you. I see it shining through, shining through. Hope, it will give you faith. Stand makes you smile and makes you still feeling so alive. What is love? Peace, laughter, fun. To love and be loved. Such a feeling, such a feeling. To love and be loved. Such a feeling, such a feeling. Such a feeling, such a feeling. Love you every day. Love, love, love. I love you every day. Love. Love, love, love you every day. Love. To love and be loved. Such a feeling, such a feeling. To love and be loved. Such a feeling, such a feeling. Who will agree?